Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the 1% Better podcast with your host, Josh Williams. It has been, again, as always, a hot second longer than I want it to be before I get to sit down, record, and talk about something that is on my mind and hopefully a valuable nugget for you all as well. So, again, we're going to hop right into this. So, today I wanted to talk about something near and dear to my heart, and it is injuries. And just because something hurts doesn't mean we don't stop. Wait, stop there. Wait, are we not supposed to work through injuries? Yes, when the body says, ouch, we want to listen to that. But that doesn't mean we stop the entire system. We don't stop the entire train just for one thing. So I want to first start out with what we call the injury paradox when working out here. And the funny thing is most people that we work with get started because they want to feel healthier. They want to have less aches and pains. They want to, sip from the fountain of youth and so on and so forth. So discomfort will drive us to work out. It will drive us to make a change to feel better. But one of the biggest reasons people also leave is due to aches, pains, and injuries. And so we're caught in this middle of we just want the good, right? I'm uncomfortable. I know by doing this thing, I will feel better. I am now doing this thing. I am feeling better. Something comes up. This is no longer good. So I go back to what I was doing before. And so when we look at it like that, it's like, it doesn't really make sense from a cognitive standpoint, emotionally for sure, because we don't like pain, we don't like discomfort, and just understanding that that push-pull that we have when it comes to injuries, when it comes to this relationship with working out. So to be straight up, working out is generally extremely safe when done at the level and the ability that is appropriate for the individual. What is being marketed and sold is typically for a certain avatar, and it might seem enticing to you, but you might actually not be the right person for it. And here's the funny thing. Exercise rarely causes the injury. It is rare that the inflammation response is because of the actual exercise itself. What the exercise does, it reveals something that was already there, already developing, because it then stresses the tissues a little bit more, inflames it, and then it's like, ooh, everything guards and tights. Typically, an injury and something like that is an adaptation that has taken, years of time to develop, whether that's due to our lifestyle, what we do each day, and history as well. Again, we have what we call acute and chronic injuries. So chronic is ongoing. Acute would be like, I drop a weight on my foot. Clearly the weight that caused the break of my foot. There's no denying that. There wasn't a bad sleep pattern or because I was wearing new shoes that it caused the weakening of the bones in my feet. No, the weight that collided to the earth and my foot was in between weight and earth. That was the result of that. But rarely is a muscle tightness this or that this specific exercise caused that. No, typically it is underlying there, and it was just enough stress that it caused the body to guard and light up a little bit. So again, this is what happens quite a bit. We start working out, we're feeling good, and boom, something happens, and we're like, nope, this isn't good. This isn't good for me. And then you drop everything, and we slide all the way back to square one if we're lucky. So there is this constant trap of we push too hard, we get hurt, we get frustrated, and then we stop working out. I'm excited, I'm feeling good, I push, injury, I drop out. The other side of this is we go too cautiously. So we're feeling good, we're moving, awesome. Maybe the coach that you're working with or yourself you're working with is going at an appropriate level, but then all of a sudden you're just like, wait a minute, I don't feel challenged. Maybe my results have kind of plateaued. And then you're like, well, I'm bored. And so there's this constant push-pull of, I don't want to work out so hard, I get injured and I stop. And I need to continue to remember my why or to see some slight progress in a safe pace that allows me to feel motivated to continue to do the thing. So at the end of the day, both lead to quitting. As so many things in life, as we learned from Sweet Goldilocks, there is a middle that's typically the happy medium. At least when it comes to exercise, my overall life philosophy is not that, but neither here nor there. So why stopping is never the answer? I would say it is rarely ever the answer. And the clients that I work with and the people that I see on a day-to-day basis, I think movement is life. As we know, if the blood stops moving, we are not moving much longer. If the heart stops moving, if the brain stops firing, movement is life. It's energy. It's that kinetic spirit, and that is the same. So here's the fun thing that most people don't realize, and I'll continue to beat this, is the body doesn't keep what we're not using. And it's very, very true when it comes to the body. If you don't use it, you lose it. Understand what the body thinks. The body is all about conservation. It's about keeping you safe. It's about keeping the body, the organs, the brain safe. That's why if you look at the body construction, we have a thick skull around our brain. That's very important to the body. It takes up a lot of energy. We have a rib cage, a lot of muscle and fat around our important organs like our heart, our lung, all of that. And you notice we have less so around our limbs. The body doesn't care as much about those. And muscle burns calories. And so if we're working out, we're staying active, that muscle is keeping us strong. It's improving our posture, our energy, allowing us to do the things we want to do. But when we stop working out, we stop moving, we stop challenging ourselves, the body says, this is taking away calories that could be getting towards the brain or used on a rainy day where we might be, have no food for a very long period of time. And I want to make sure that I can keep our organs going. And so what it does is, what's one of the first things? Muscle. It starts degrading the muscle away so that it can conserve calories. And what does that do? Of course, it increases our instability. It increases our susceptibility to injury, less resilient, less able to recover. And that also limits our ability and capacity to function in day-to-day life again. So stopping is typically almost always never the solution. It is a simple fix-all of that hurts, stop. It's always context. Was the doctor saying, stop all movement, stop everything? Or, hey, let's just stop irritating that area and let's let it rest. Okay, that's a totally different thing of just stopping all together on that end. So understanding everyone's recovery looks different. No two injuries are the same. No two people respond the same way. What matters is keeping the goal in sight, even when the path looks different for a while. The season might be, hey, I have to really focus on, upper body movements right now, a lot of stability to stabilize my core so it's not bothering my lower back. It might be I have an upper extremity issue, so I need to focus on the lower body right now. Maybe I can't do as much impact, so I'm doing more just walks. Maybe I'm doing some incline work. So there's a bunch of different ways to continue to keep progressing forward towards your goal without stopping, because stopping puts you way back behind. So right now in my season of life, and this is why it came up to me, is I constantly do this thing where I do something stupid and I hurt myself. The benefit of me is, and I joke, but I'm serious, is just because I injure myself, I'm not going to stop moving. Like, I know that about me. I will do, I would say, dumber things than what I would advise my clients to do, because I know for a matter of fact, if I'm able to do something and move, I'm going to do that. I'm going to move. And so I can't guarantee that with the people I work with, because I'm not you. And so again, the goal is to never cause injury. The goal is to avoid it at all costs, because we don't know how that person is going to respond to it. And so understandably, what happens when we do have an injury, something comes up, whether it's because of life, we slipped and fell, whether it's because we slept weird, we have a lot of stress going on in our life, and it just showed up in the musculature of guarding and tightness, locking down. The goal is to find a way to keep moving. And so using me as a case study, I guess, or whatnot, I, at this point in my life, I guess you can say late-ish 30s, is my body doesn't heal as quickly when I do something dumb. It used to be like a day. I'd be like, ow, I wake up the next day, shake it out. I was like, maybe, I still work out, call it good. Now it's like, oh, I'm going to be, sore for like 2 weeks, and I have to like grab the roof of my truck to lift me out of my vehicle. to get out. And so it's different, but what's not is continuing to find ways to move. Okay, my workouts aren't the same. They're not full body. They're mostly upper body right now. I can't run right now, so I do a lot of walking. I know sitting exacerbates this, so I try to do a lot as much as possible while walking or standing. And, doing all those little things, so still continue to move and stay active and find movement that feels good with it, while continuing to maintain my strength, while continuing to maintain my cardiovascular, and then also at the end of the day, I'm not letting it spiral in my nutrition and my goals right now of just getting healthier body compositionally. And so what it does is I don't stop what I'm doing. I shift the focus for what makes sense for my body right now. And so that's where a coach comes in, an expert comes in to really help with that. One of the big things is getting smart with aging. As I just stated, I am not great at this. I know what to do. I know what is smart to do. And that is, as a coach, is great. But that doesn't mean we always listen to it. And so we have to understand that the version of myself that was 10 years ago or 20 years ago, enjoy that version. Hopefully you enjoyed that time. I enjoyed the capacity that I had then. I enjoyed those memories that I did. I accomplished that. No one is taking that away from you. But the goal shouldn't be to be that person again. It should be who you are and where you're going to now in that journey. And what that looks like with working out is, especially, if you've been working out a lot, it doesn't look the same as it did. Now, if you're new to working out, well, great. This is your baseline. But typically what it might look like is, especially for me, is like I might get competitive. I might see somebody and compete internally, like, oh, I want to do that, I'm going to hurt myself. And it's realizing, always keeping, what is the goal? What is my goal? My goal is to not feel like this, to be able to play with my kids, get up and down, and not, take 3 movements to get up. It's to be able to run. It's to be able to twist, rotate, do all those things, and not have to really think about it. And so an injury kind of resets, okay, what are my priorities? And, why do I keep doing this? And checking my ego at the door, though not easy, because pain is a great reminder of things not to do. And when it's gone, well, why not do it? So what does this look like for you? What does it look like for a client? So when a client comes in through our doors, what we are always doing, we are meeting and checking in with each one of our clients as they work out. We know that our clients typically come in before, like every client we work with, let's say, has an ache pain or something like that. And so it's no surprise. Oh, my wrist hurts today. My shoulder's feeling off. I slept weird. I tripped and fell and I caught myself. So my wrist is sprained again, or an elbow. And so the thing is the goal is to never stop. And to know that when you're working with a professional, that they're able to adapt. It's not about just running through what they had planned for the day, but it's adapting. Workouts is always a meeting of you with the coach. It's, here's what I had planned because this is what's best for you based off the goals that you came in with. This is where you were trying to get to. Now, that might change as well, but what I had planned for you based off what you said to me today, whether it's your recovery, your attitude, your how your body is feeling, that's going to adjust. Sometimes it's the entire movement pattern that's going to adjust. And then sometimes it's just the load and intensity at which we do it. Sometimes it's the stability of how we do it. Sometimes it's the range of motion at what we do it. There's a bunch of different ways to modify it to keep you continually getting stronger and going forward. But I would say rarely ever is the case of just completely stopping. I know sometimes it's hard. We are, even as we get older, we're very, very all or nothing. Either I do everything or I do nothing. And the reality is, that's the same mindset that led us to where we're at today. It's either, if I can't do the whole thing, why bother at all? And the reality is, that's just going to slide you further and further away from your goal. And the other flip side I look at it is, like, clients that have put 6 months, 8 months of work into it, realizing that 6 weeks off of strength training, your body will start taking that away. It does not stay stagnant, and it will take it away a lot faster than how you gained it. And so the goal is to never just be like, I worked out for a season of my life, I felt really good, and then I slide back and then keep this yo-yoing, which is common. And I honestly look at it as a waste of time and investment. It's, we only have so many heartbeats. We only have so many moments in time. And I want to make them those the best. That's why I work out. But at the end of the day, too, is if I've decided to invest in that, and then I know if I stop for a long period of time, again, 6 weeks isn't nothing, but a period of time with where I'm doing nothing, I'm going to lose that investment. It's like I just threw that time out. And so, depending how you look at it, never stop moving. Always keep going forward. Work with a professional. Of course, you want to work with your doctor. Of course, you want to. There is times where it makes sense to work with a physical therapy on imbalances. It makes sense to work with a doctor because you need muscle relaxants or pain management. And of course, it makes times where you might have to go to surgery and get joints repaired and this and that because we've lived a long, active life and things break down and things aren't always optimal. So they all have their place in time, but movement in that energy is always the topmost. So again, hopefully this speaks to y'all. If you're a client, awesome. Keep going. Work with us. We're always here. Never stop going. At the same time, if you're new, you're nervous. Yeah. This is why it's important to work with a professional that understands the whole scope, that also works with a team and has a network of other health professionals in their back pocket as well to work alongside you as you go on your fitness journey. That is why we are the Fitness Sherpa, in the sense that we are guiding you along your path, your journey alongside you. So have a great day. Thank you all so much. Ta-ta for now.